Hi, I'm Liz Granberg-Jerome from Gypsy Dreamer Quilts, and I'm going to talk about triangulations. This is a disc that you can get or a download from the internet, and Triangulations is a series of PDFs that you can print out on foundation paper or computer paper that give you already printed foundation to make half square triangles and flying geese and several other projects. It's quite ingenious, and you get many different sizes. The ones I'm doing are for a quilt that requires a 2 1/4 inch cut that will finish at 1 3/4. So rather than trying to mark every square and then sew them down both sides of the line, I get to just trace the lines with my sewing machine and make 18 half square triangles very quickly. So I've already cut my 2 layers of fabric, and I have 1 layer on the bottom that I want to fold back when I press them open. And so the layer that is on top will be closest to the paper. The folding one will be underneath. And because this is a square layout, I'm actually starting in the middle of the sheet so that I can do a continuous run all the way around. And I'm going to follow the dotted lines. Okay. That quickly, I've now sewed 18 half square triangles. Next, they'll go to the cutting board and be cut on the solid lines in all these different directions. And this afternoon, using this same size, I made 240 of these in about 4 hours, and it would have taken me 2 or 3 days probably to do them one at a time, drawing the line and sewing on either side and then cutting and pressing. These are so fast, and they come out without having to be trimmed because they're automatically the size you need them. I hope this has been helpful. Look for Triangulations on the internet, and you can download your own copy. Step 2 of Triangulations is trimming. When you trim, make sure you're cutting as close to on the line as possible. And I trim the outside edges first in both directions. So I'm trying to kind of almost split that line and have the ruler lined up so that the line is right where it needs to be. And then you're going to cut one direction on the long line. And I'm trying to keep everything lined up so that that line is getting split if possible, to keep my triangles the correct size. And then, since I'm working at a table where I can go around the edge, I'm not using a spinning cutting mat, but it certainly could be used. And again, I want to make sure they're all lined up with that cutting line, straight with the ruler. Adjust as necessary since they're already separated. And then, if you cut this little trim line out in the corner, when you press them open, there will be no points sticking out that will need to be trimmed. You'll have a wonderful little half square triangle without any little appendages that will have to be trimmed later. And once you get there, then you cut these two pieces apart, and then you would take it to the iron and press them open, and I would have 18 half square triangles that quickly. Once they're pressed, then I'll fold and tear the paper out, but I wait until they're pressed first because that helps keep the shape and that makes them not stretch as much. And then they're ready to sew into your project. So you can make many, many half square triangles very quickly using triangulations.